Tonight on CFTK-TV News, the District of Kitimat is seeking to get a new fire truck. Several swimming spots in Vancouver have been closed down, and a farm in BC has become a notable food source for people looking to buy local.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Good evening, I'm Cale Maslin, and here's what's making news in the Northwest and beyond for today. To begin, the District of Kitimat has begun working on replacing an emergency vehicle that is reportedly falling apart at rapid speed. A recent Kitimat Council meeting saw Council determine that they will be starting a procurement process with the goal of replacing the Kitimat Fire and Ambulance Services Rescue Pumper Truck. The current version of the truck has been used by the community for close to 2 decades in frontline operations and has been suffering from ever-escalating maintenance issues, age-related wear and tear, and an inability to get support from the truck's manufacturer since it went out of business in 2014. But while the process to get this new truck has begun, it is going to take a while before it actually gets finished.
The fire truck won't actually be here until I believe it's 2028 possibly, because they have to be built. So you put in your funding first and then the company builds them to your spec. So that's still a few years away, but yes, we are putting in the funding to replace one of our fire trucks.
A new edition of the pumper could cost at most $1.8 million, so that is the amount of money that Kitimat Council is working to get, and based on the original recommendation of the replacement, the funds seem as if they will come from the fire department's equipment reserve. The current pumper is the oldest major emergency vehicle that Kitimat's fire department has at the moment, and the expected timeline for the new truck to be completed is said to be about 24 months. For CFTK-TV News, I'm Cale Maslin. Over the weekend, the temporary overnight sheltering area in Smithers that is located across from their town hall caught on fire. And while Smithers Fire and Rescue, alongside some other first responders, were able to get to the scene quickly and contain the fire in a short amount of time, one person was unfortunately still pretty badly burnt, and they're being treated at the hospital. The town of Smithers then went on to give their thanks to everyone who played a part in helping stop the fire from spreading any further. The Terrace Roundabout got a facelift over the weekend, and motorists can expect to be awed by new artwork. CFTK-TV's Jaylene Matthews has more.
The Sugigette art installation slowed traffic significantly over the weekend during its installation, but that's all clear now and the insertion is complete. According to the Skeena Salmon Arts Fest, this is a collaborative piece between master carver Stan Bevan and his team of apprentices Brian McKee, Kobe Antoine, and Savannah Medeiros. The other 2 lead artists are Northwestern BC-based wood and metal artists Rod Brown and Mike Sorochin. Bevan's team carved center sculptures featuring 3 wooden carvings of human forms, which were enshrouded in aluminum and copper sculpted by Sorokin. The 6 9-foot wooden salmon carvings with aluminum design elements are by Roderick Brown of Coho Wood Studio. The project was funded by the province with a grant of just over $677,000 through the Ministry of Tourism, Arts, Culture and Sport. The project is one of 31 across the province to receive funding. Sugigette means new people in the Smoliacs language of the Tsimshian people. More specifically, it means the original people embracing a new way of doing things. The Arts Society says the name was gifted to the project by the late Kitsillis elder Mel Bevan, who is also the father of lead artist Stan Bevan. For CFTK-TV News in Terrace, I'm Jaylene Matthews.
Coming up next is a preview of the upcoming G7 summit. Welcome back. The annual G7 summit is set to take place in the near future and is illustrated by CTV's Rachel Aiello. Some seriously pressing financial issues are hanging over this year's political meetup.
Canada's finance minister says this summit is about tackling the most pressing financial issues collaboratively.
Benvenuto in Canada.
Francois Philippe Champagne offered warm Canadian welcomes this morning before getting down to business. The finance minister and Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem are leading the summit's working sessions, bringing together the leaders of the world's largest economies.
All right, let's go to work.
Among the policy priorities being discussed, economic security, global growth, artificial intelligence, and financial crime. Speaking before the summit kicked off, Champagne said his mission is to work on restoring economic stability and growth.
It's going back to basics, making sure that together we are the voice of the largest economy in the world.
And while U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs aren't explicitly on the agenda, they are undeniably hanging over the meeting. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent came to Banff with the intent of talking to his counterparts about trade imbalances. Champagne will have his chance to make Canada's case for the U.S. easing off its trade action in a meeting with his American counterpart expected before dinner, according to his office.
There was always tension around tariffs, but at the same time, there's a lot we can achieve together.
One area where Canada is hoping the G7 leaders will present a united front is helping Ukraine rebuild. Their finance minister is taking part in the summit, even though Ukraine isn't in the G7. Russia is not at the table, but today Trump said it would be better if they were, as the G8.
Because if Russia was in, you probably wouldn't have this war.
The conversations happening here will inform the agenda for next month's G7 Leaders Summit that Trump is set to attend. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Banff.
Those looking to beat the heat by taking a dip in the ocean at a Vancouver beach might be out of luck. Vancouver Coastal Health has issued advisories for 8 local swimming spots due to high E. coli levels. CTV's Yasmin Gandam reports.
There are signs up here at Kids Beach telling visitors not to swim, but the beach itself is still safe to enjoy.
At this time, they're not closed for overall use, so people can still attend them to relax, to spend time with their friends and family.
As of Friday morning, Dundedrave Beach in West Vancouver, English Bay, Kids Beach, Second Beach, Sunset Beach, Third Beach, Trout Lake, and Lions Bay are all not suitable for swimming. An advisory is issued when E. coli levels in the water are too high.
Animal sources, so things like dogs and geese, have been noted to often contaminate beach areas. And as well as that, in terms of human sources, we know that discharge from boats, potentially overflow or leaking from sewers, can be a contributor as well.
Ingesting the water can be dangerous, causing severe gastrointestinal infections. Schwant advises people also keep their pets away. He says the number of beaches affected is high.
This is certainly one of the highest numbers of local beaches that we've seen closed to swimming at the same time in recent years.
Several other beaches are undergoing further water testing but are open for swimming. Taking a dip at Jericho Beach or Wreck Beach is so far still permitted.
Oftentimes when an initial sample might be at a borderline range, we'll have retesting conducted to see if this was just a transient issue or if indeed there is a pattern suggestive of severe contamination.
People are advised to check Vancouver Coastal Health's beach water quality map before swimming for all of the latest updates. Yasmin Gandam, CTV News, Vancouver.
2 orphaned bear cubs are getting a second chance after their mom was shot and killed in Maple Ridge last month. CTV's Michelle Bernoro with more on how the cubs were rescued and what's next.
This video showing 2 cubs only about 6 months old shortly after they were reunited at Critter Care Wildlife Society in Langley.
Brother and sister that hadn't seen each other for a long time. It was very, very sweet.
They became orphaned June 12th after the mama bear attacked a 73-year-old woman as she stepped onto her back deck at night. The bear was later shot by police. The cubs took off, and rescue groups spent weeks trying to find them.
They didn't really stand a chance being left out in the open. They were susceptible to predators.
Maple Ridge Black Bear Society worked with Critter Care trying to trap the baby bears. The male cub was found the first week of July, the other just on Sunday.
Just very grateful for the people of Maple Ridge for helping us get these bears into care, because it really, it's very, it's just a nice thing that they're not out there by themselves now.
Meanwhile, the public is being asked to do what they can to avoid bear interactions.
We're just hoping that we can get the message out there for everybody to please keep their trash away and close their garages when they're not using them.
Williams says it will cost about $4,000 to care for each bear.
They're all doing fantastically well, doing excellently, and they're growing at a rate that I cannot believe.
He says the male cub is now about 35 pounds or just over 11 kilograms. His sister about 21 pounds. If all goes as planned, the cubs are expected to be released back into the wild next June, as far away from people as possible. Michelle Bernoro, CTV News, Langley.
Now we turn our attention towards a farm that is located in BC that is providing to people who have become interested in buying Canadian-grown produce recently. CTV's Anna McMillan has more information.
Yeah, so this is the kale. We're picking this fresh right out of the fields.
It's a hot commodity these days, along with all other produce grown here at Mitchell's Farm in central Saanich.
We've seen a large upswing of people looking for local produce, not only from our farm, but Vancouver Island, BC, Alberta, anything that is grown in Canada is a very large upswing.
Terry Mitchell says it's been that way since U.S. President Donald Trump started talking tariffs.
And it's been getting more and more every week. It still is on the increase.
As spring nears, the Mitchell's Farm team is planting more produce than it normally would.
More green onions, more carrots, more everything. Like we're growing 30 different crops. Everything, and even more, sometimes 35 different crops, and we're planting a bit more of everything.
For the food they don't grow themselves, but sell at the market, staff are asking wholesalers,
can we get more BC product, Alberta, anything from Canada, because that's what the customers are looking for.
There's local, and then there's steps from your door local.
I think it's wonderful to support our local farms. They work so hard, and we can't grow all of our own food.
But we can grow some of it, and Tasha Medvi teaches people to do just that.
There's a big movement around growing your own food, whether you're going to grow it in a couple raised beds or some containers on your balcony, but people want a little bit of an empowerment of self-sufficiency right now.
For beginners,
just start small. Grow what you love to eat is what I tell everyone. Don't grow something that you're not passionate about eating, or grow something that you want to cook with.
Potentially creating a collective shift in where people get their food, whether it's grown by local farmers or at home. Anna McMillan, CTV News, Saanich.
And now we take a look at both your nightly and weekly weather forecast. On the north coast, the forecast for tonight expects a few clouds at a low at 12 degrees, while the upcoming week is expecting to get back to being rainy and cloudy as the high bounces between 17 and 14 degrees. In the Terrace Kitimat area, their nightly forecast will likely see a chance of showers at a low at 16 degrees, with the rest of the week potentially seeing a fair bit of rain and clouds too, as their high moves from 29 to 21 degrees. And in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, tonight should deal with a chance of showers too, but with a low at 8 degrees. And their week will begin with sun before progressively getting more cloudy and rainy, and their high will shift from 26 to 20 degrees. And now checking out the highways, visit Drive BC for the latest and up-to-date conditions, and as always, drive safe out there. Highway 16 is construction work, bridge maintenance, paving operations, utility work, road maintenance work, line painting, and some other maintenance is planned. Highway 37 has bridge construction, bridge maintenance, crack sealing, roadside brushing, and road maintenance work. And Highway 37A is still dealing with falling rocks between west of Mississauga and east of Stewart, alongside some paving operations and road sweeping. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the view of the province's highway cams. Still to come is a report that further shows the problems facing Canada's medical system. Welcome back. And now we switch over to Josh Barano, who looks at how some people are buying their groceries these days, and they aren't doing so at traditional brand name stores.
Colleen Russell is bagging them by the bushel at the Carp Farmers Market.
I just bought some chicken breasts from a lovely farmer, and now we're looking for something to go with it.
For shoppers, including Russell, farmers markets have become a go-to for their groceries.
I'd much rather spend money locally than at a grocery store, because it's so expensive there now. There's not any deals to be had.
Lately, vendors at carp farmers market say they have seen more volume than in years past.
We've definitely seen more consistent higher numbers here, and I do attribute that somewhat to not just the increase in pricing in the grocery store, but also the overall desire to support local.
While prices are higher, some say their spending is on par with what they dish out at a grocery store. Loblaws releasing their food inflation report stating in June, food prices in Canada rose by 2.8% compared to last year. Coffee, cocoa, and beef all saw significant increases, with tariffs a major factor in the rise in price.
The dollar is less of a factor. In December, we were expecting food inflation to be anywhere between 3 to 5%. As we are now into July, we are expecting food inflation to end this year at around 3%.
But some don't seem to mind.
What I want, I take. I don't worry about the price.
For Russell, she says she'll pay a little extra for her produce because she knows her money is staying in Canada. Josh Morano, CTV News.
Next up is a report that further illustrates the problems that various Canadian residents continue to have when it comes to seeking medical attention. CTV's Sarah Plowman has more.
It's summer, but hospitals are overcrowded. Hundreds of beds taken up by people who don't need to be here but can't go home. Many stuck, waiting for a long-term care bed.
Approximately 40% of acute care beds are currently being used by patients who no longer require hospital-level care.
To relieve pressure, one of New Brunswick's health networks asked the province to approve a critical state protocol so patients at 4 overcrowded hospitals can be bumped to the top of the nursing home wait list. The province granted that wish for 30 days.
We do have beds available across the province. So the folks that are in hospital now are going to be prioritized for those beds. Now, the next step is making sure that we don't get here again.
In the next month, Horizon Health hopes to get more patients out the door. How many is hard to predict.
It depends on beds becoming available in these long-term care homes. Often they become available when, unfortunately, a patient passes away.
Shelley Poirier's family understands the agonizing wait. Her dad had a heart attack in May 2023. It took 17 months to be moved from the hospital.
We watched his mental health decline too, right? He started to get, quite depressed. And he, after such a long wait, he started to believe it was never going to happen.
Eventually, he did get a spot at a nursing home where he's 100 and happy. But she's concerned for others.
It's a huge system and a huge problem that's systemic.
New Brunswick's seniors advocate compared the issue to a financial deficit, a problem he believes governments keep passing down.
On a growing number of patients who are in acute care when they really need long-term care, and it's hurting those patients and it's destabilizing the urgent care system and putting everybody at risk, and it is going to require some drastic action.
Moving some to the top of this wait list means others will temporarily be bumped down. Horizon Health has asked for the public's patience, noting this is a short-term measure. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Fredericton.
Consider it a Canadian version of the X-Files. The country's top science advisor is calling on the government to create a new body to track and investigate UFO reports. So what truth will they uncover? Here's CTV's John Venavali-Rao.
Look at it, it's behind the tree. What is that?
To get an idea of just how common UFO sightings are, for fun, we decided to take to a Toronto sidewalk with a sign and a simple question. And within minutes, people started telling us their stories.
There was this light above me. It was really bright. I mean, at first I thought it'd be a plane, but it seemed to be like a white light, and it was moving really, really fast. We looked into the field, and there was this big glowing orb. It vanished. It didn't go up, it didn't go any direction, it just kind of disappeared.
Witnesses often don't know who to contact to report a sighting, but a new report from the Office of Canada's Chief Science Advisor is recommending the process be simplified.
The main big sort of point from this is that it should be very clear to everybody where these things get reported.
For years, there's been plenty of talk about videos shot by U.S. military pilots filming what used to be called UFOs and now known as unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. The Sky Canada report is recommending a single government service be established, which would collect, study, and share information about sightings, in part to combat misinformation and conspiracy theories.
And there's no question that the vast majority are explainable as stars, planes, planets, and what have you. But there's a small fraction every year that don't seem to have an easy explanation.
Other recommendations include making a bilingual reporting app to help people report sightings more easily. The Sky Canada report also suggests Transport Canada should encourage pilots, cabin crews, and air traffic controllers to report UAP sightings without fear of stigmatization.
It definitely was a flying object of some sort. I mean, I'm not quite sure if it was necessarily alien.
Because it turns out when you ask this question, it doesn't take long to get a yes. John Penavalley-Rouse, CTV News, Toronto.
And now we turn our attention to how the stock markets are looking as of today compared to last week. The Canadian dollar is up 14/10 of a cent. The price of gold is up $48.10. Oil is down 10 cents. Natural gas is down 25 cents. Aluminum is up $34.50. In Toronto, the TSX is up 2.99 points. The Venture Index is up 5.05. In New York, the Dow Jones is down 19.12, and NASDAQ is up 78.51. Still ahead, a search for a shipwreck led to a somewhat unexpected discovery. Welcome back. A team of underwater archaeologists seeking one shipwreck found another instead, plus a pilot tracked down a lost dog in Alaska. Here's CNN's Jeremy Roth with Take a Look at This.
Researchers got an unexpected surprise in a Wisconsin river when, while searching for one historic shipwreck, they found another one instead. Underwater archaeologists were using high-resolution sonar mapping tech to scan the bed of the Fox River in hopes of identifying potential cultural sites, including the remains of the Berlin City, a steamship that sank in 1870. As the scanner surveyed rocks and debris along the bed, suddenly a boxy hull came into view. However, its shape and size led researchers to believe it wasn't the Berlin, but instead the possible resting site of the long-lost L.W. Crane, a side-wheel steamer that caught fire in 1880. If confirmed, the location would contradict all previous records on the L.W. Crane's assumed resting place. Research into the discovery is ongoing, but the team shared their findings on social media, saying the fun of archaeology is sometimes you find things you weren't even looking for. Another unlikely and heroic discovery by a pilot in the remote Alaskan wilderness saw a lost dog reunited with its grateful owners. KTUU reports the couple was on a camping trip when they say their dog Coda got spooked, slipped his collar, and took off. They searched for days but with no luck, later turning to social media to spread the word. That's where local pilot John Kagerer saw the news and said he felt a calling.
I just had a real feeling, I don't know, a gut feeling that I was going to find the dog.
And he was right. After a short flight scanning the area, he landed and found Coda almost immediately. Using some treats, Kagerer lured, then loaded Coda onto the plane, messaged his owners, and flew him back to Anchorage where they were waiting with grateful open arms.
I can only imagine if he could tell us what he went through, what his story would be.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
That's our news for now. For everyone at CFTK-TV News, I'm Kale Maslin. Thanks for watching.